Hey everyone, so basically what I wanted to do today was do a small little review basically of the WZ-120-1G FT. And the reason I decided to end up doing it is because I have played I think over 120 games in the tank now. And so I feel very comfortable in explaining my play style and how I think it should be played. And if you disagree with me, don't get upset. Don't flood the comments or anything, because playstyle is very opinionated, and when it comes down to doing reviews, it's also beyond stats. It's very opinionated of the player. So we're gonna discuss it real quick. I have the stats up right now. As you can see, as we're gonna go through this, the WZ-121 GFT, in a lot of ways, is very comparable to a Jagdpanther 2. And I'm going to show you that later on as well. And so if you look at the DPM, it's very middle of the road when you compare it to like an SU-101 and a Jagdpanther 2 as tech tree tanks. It has 2 millimeters of penetration more on the standard routes than the J-Panther 2. And essentially the J-Panther sacrifices about around a minute for slightly higher alpha. So if you jumped out of weapon handling, you get that standard Chinese, really fast 1.72 second aim time, but still, that's only 0.3 seconds faster than a J-Panther. It's 0.18 faster than the SU-101, so it's not like it's insanely better. And that's something to really keep in mind. And then even jumping down to like gun depression, the J-Panther's better. It has the same gun arc. It has just as good dispersion, better dispersion than the WZ-121 GFT. And when it comes down to speed, it's faster. It's not as fast going backwards, but it's faster going forwards. But this is where it gets a little interesting. The WZ has really nice power to weight ratios, and the armor is good. It has 120 standard in the front. We're going to jump into that in a minute. But so when you mix slightly lower top speed, and you get that 17.88 over like the 14.62 power to weight ratios, you get to that top speed a lot quicker. But as you can see here, in the front, it's about 240, 250 millimeters all around. But then once you jump to that little box below the gun, never shoot at that little box because it's about 260. It's thicker than that front plate. And so, as you saw at the beginning too, the lower plate also on flat ground is about 150 millimeters. So it can all be really strong if you aren't shooting it in the right place. And what I'm going to show you here is very important. As you can see on the side, you can ignore the numbers. My mouse cursor is off, so like I'm just going to explain it. The top portion of the hull that extends over the track, if you shoot that when it's angled sideways, really at any angle, it's still hitting up to 200 millimeters of armor. That upper plate on the superstructure of the tank is a lot stronger than the side armor below that and behind the track. So if you're gonna shoot it in the side, there's a huge gap between the tracks and that superstructure portion. Shoot it there. It's only about 175 millimeters or less. It's not hard to pin it, especially at this angle. There's so many times you bounce shots at this angle, and it's because people either shoot it into the track or they shoot it into that superstructure portion. They just don't have the penetration to do it. So we're going to jump into our first game here on Mines. I have 2 games, one on Mines, one on Faust. And both of them are against Tier 9 opponents. I chose not to use any Tier 7 replays. I thought it was important that I show you that the tank really can compete at its tier. And I'm going to tell you now, in my opinion, I don't think the WZ is overpowered. It's really good. It has a lot of strong aspects, but at the same time, there are really good tanks that can counter it. ISUs and Borzigs just go right through your front. There's like no angling you can do. If you aren't fully angling your armor, it's really not as strong as it seems. You can easily pin it. You can pin other WZs yourself. So really, the gun's really good. It has good camo. The armor's okay, and it has decent maneuverability and insane traverse. The traverse is the only thing that I think really makes it closer to that overpowered level, but I still don't think it really is. I tried to go for a shot there on the 5100. I was hoping I can get it right into the lower plate, and I don't get it. Unfortunately, I hit his track. But our ISU shot and got spotted through the left side. I think I didn't get spotted because I had an ISU on my left side and covering me. And he gets absolutely deleted because he also decides to stay up there and just face them and hope he's going to bounce. I really don't know. I connect one into the PTA and then I go for one on the IS-5. Unfortunately, I didn't pen the top of the turret on the IS-5. Regardless of the penetration gun you have at tier 8, that's still going to be a hard shot. And I'm going to come up here and I'm trying to hide myself from where I saw the PTA in the other tank. And I'm just going to look for shots on the IS-5. I'm hoping that he'll poke. But I'm going to back out, and as you see, I'm taking advantage of any terrain I can. This tank is really low profile, so if you back off slightly off hills like this, you're basically hiding your entire tank, especially for tanks below you. So I'm going to use that, I'm going to angle up, I'm going to back out of there, and I'm going to push back up where I am able to go essentially hull down. I know you don't have a turret, it's hard to say hull down, but you are hull down in this aspect, and you're angling your tank slightly up, and it's maximizing your armor. Maximized armor on the WZ is about 300, 350 millimeters effective. And nothing's going to overmatch you. Nothing has a 300 and something millimeter gun. They just don't. And so I connect one into the IS-5. I go for a chancy shot there. I end up bouncing. I believe it's the IS-3. And I go for another one on the IS-5. Unfortunately, I just track him. But I'm going to push down here. I'm deciding that if we want to win this game, I have to get my gun more in the game. The PTA's down, so there's only one tier 9 WT left. And at this point, I decide I don't need to worry about the IS-3. I want to go deal with these tank destroyers because our team's going to die if they can't deal with them. And as you can see, the 111 is already in a lot of trouble right now. And so I'm going to come up here, and I'm actually going to look for the J Panther. The J Panther is a scary target. I've played against them a lot. At this position, not so scary. Hull down J Panther 2s using all their gun depression. You're going to have trouble penning at you with heat. So it's a really good contester to the WZ. So if you don't have a WZ and you're just annoyed that you think it's really good, and you have a J Panther and you're good in it, run that around for a while at tier 8 because you're going to find that you're going to start deleting these tanks as you see them. I'm going to try to save the Foch over there. He is one of our only tier 9s left. Unfortunately, I don't save him. But this one, IS-3 is just hiding behind the rock, and I decide I'd rather go hunt the WT so we know where he's at, since I'm still on 1,100 HP. And I'm going to leave him, hopefully, to our team, since we have the 110 and the, I believe, lightweight back there. I'm not for sure what it is. I don't have the team open, and I'm not looking. 110 dies to the WZ, and it tells me that I can push up here, and this is what this tank's really fun at doing. I'm going to push forward, HE for 500, do a little bit of ram damage, and now I'm going to use my traverse and speed to back off around this corner so the IS-3 also doesn't have shots on me, because I'm worried that this WT is going to shoot me. Fortunately, I break his gun, and he apparently doesn't have a repair kit, so he's not even able to repair it, so I'm going to take the risk, just poke around the corner, take the hit from the IS-3, and I'm going to shut him down. So that's a 3.7k mastery at tier 9. We ended up making 92,000 credits, and that is another thing about this tank. It has really good credit earnings. If you want a good credit grinder and you love tank destroyers, this is really a good tank to pick up. Because I've played 120 games and I've easily ground out almost 7 million credits. So I have a premium account, obviously, but it is a really good credit grinding tank, and it's not hard to farm your way up to 3k damage and get that high credit amount. So I'm trying to decide on where I want to go. I was going to go with the Type 61 over to ACAP because it looked like he wanted to go, and I mean they only had one medium. And so I was going to turn and go with him, but he decides he's going to push this side with us. So then I'm going to turn around and just poke up here, and I'm going to stay up on the ramps. There's no reason for me to go low, because then that automatically puts my armor at a disadvantage to any of the tanks up top here. So I'm going to use this to hide my lower plate, that's the weakest part right now, and I'm going to shoot these guys. I'm going for one on the T-54 and I connect, and this is what I mean by its armor. Right now they have no lower plate shots, they're shooting up at me, and so they're looking at about 300 millimeters of armor right here. and there's no chance that 5100 is going through. I get a nice higher roll on the T-54, able to shut him down on 400 HP, and now you see me load HE. I really want the HE shot into the back of the 5100. He's going to try and almost give it to me. Unfortunately, I'm not quick enough on the draw, and I end up missing him. So right now there's the T-30 over there, and I end up finding that I can shoot him from here. So I'm going to put one into him for 388, and I'm going to continue to annoy those tanks over there, because I keep looking at the 5100, but he just decides he doesn't want to back out. And now I'm going to take advantage of my really good gun handling, and I'm going to start shooting that Type 61 cupola that's rearing its ugly head above that wall. And this Type 61, unfortunately, is just going to have a bad day right here, because he's just going to keep poking, and he's going to keep losing HP as we all shoot that giant cupola in the open. I unfortunately hit the wall there. We will hit another shot. I get spotted. That's my only worry right here, is I am getting spotted a lot by these tanks. When you're in this close quarters and you don't have camo, it's really, or bushes or anything, it's really hard to actually shoot all these shots and not get spotted. So even with camo net up there, as you saw, I got spotted. I don't have no bush cover. So it's just something you have to be aware of. Make sure you're watching for tanks to start turning their turret towards you, because if they do, you need to back out immediately. Especially stuff like higher tier tanks like T-30s, Yak Tigers. They're not going to have a lot of trouble penning you, especially if you're just on flat ground. I blind fire the T-30 there, and it looks like I connected. So now I only need to hit one more in the T-30 so I can shut him down. Unfortunately for us, the WZ-111 does it. I said unfortunately, it's just less damage we get to farm, but it's easier win. We're 3-3 right now, and that is a almost full HP Ag Tiger. If he turned around and just killed the WZ, we would have had an easier win. But he bothers me. So like, if he penned the next couple of rounds, he had a chance to shoot at me. It would have been really risky. I connect one more in there for 434, and I end up shutting him down. But if he connected like 2 more rounds on me, he could have probably turned around and dealt with our team. Because they had longer reloads, and I don't know how skilled they really were. So if they played bad or anything, it would have ended up resulting in a loss. But I come around here, the IS-5 goes for a flank, I guess. Didn't realize I was up here, and I shut him down as he comes around the corner. Once again, this is another 3.8k mastery at tier 9. So as you can see, it is a really good tier 8. I don't think it's overpowered in my opinion. I think if a good player has any tank, they're going to do really good in it. And that's something to keep in mind. The tank is good. So if you are a good player, you could really take advantage of a lot of the good aspects around the tank. I don't think it's broken. In my opinion, if the tank was broken, anybody could pick it up and do really good in it. And that just doesn't happen. So, thank you all for watching. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Give me your opinions of the tank in the comments. And if you have any thoughts or what you want to see more on this channel, let me know in the comments. And go ahead and subscribe. And I hope to catch you guys out there on the battlefield.